Next up on the list is Quasi. They're from Portland, just a two-piece. And just again, sort of lo-fi, brilliant, cheerful, power pop, I guess. Some might say more of more indie than rock, but Sam Coombs, who was also in Heat Miser, which was a Portland band that had Elliott Smith in the early days in them, and Janet Weiss, who is the drummer, or was the drummer in the brilliant Sleater-Kinney, who are also on the list. But this is Quasi. All their albums are great. This is from 1998. It's called Featuring Birds. Great album. Next up on the list, we've got Sleater-Kinney, who are an all-female, I think the only all-female band on the list. One of the most enduring and influential punk bands of the 90s and the noughties. Just brilliant. Do really well now, successful sort of feminist songwriting, melodic but complex, just great musicians, great songs, and yeah, this is my favourite album by theirs, Dig Me Out, but you know, all their albums are great. Here we've got Fastbacks, fantastic power pop, punky power pop. Again, we've got some of the same members as in Young Fresh Fellows. Seattle band, just tuneful pop punk. In fact, Duff McKagan from Guns N' Roses, he was one of the early drummers in this band. Some people might not know that. Yeah, Duff was from Seattle and, you know, hung around with all these bands back in the day. This had a female bassist and singer called Kim Warnock, and she is married to one of the Posies, I believe. But anyway, brilliant album. Again, all their albums are brilliant. Not easy to get, but try your best. Next band, Screaming Trees. Again, a lot of you might know these. They're probably just outside the big four, but they're one of the big ones, mainly because they had Mark Lanegan in the band, who has gone on to do fantastic things with Queens of the Stone Age and on his own. So this one, they did a lot of albums. They were one of the early bands, started off in the early 80s, very sort of psychedelic sort of noise. The last two albums they did, Dust and Sweet Oblivion, sold millions, but before that, this one came just before those, Uncle Anesthesia, and yeah, just great swirly psychedelic rock. Next up on the list, another big band, but just one of my favourite albums, so I had to put it on there. The President of the United States of America, just a fun band. It doesn't get much more fun than the Presidents. They've done loads of albums, split up, reformed a dozen times. But they are a Seattle band, not kind of known in with the grunge bands, but they are. So I think they were originally on Pop Llama label, which is independent label that had the Posies on it, who we'll see also in the list. So just really tuneful garage rock. You probably know it. They had the singles Lump and Peaches, which were huge hits, and this album sold millions.
Stuck with sand, monster ring.